The next day, I told my parents and brother that, while I wouldn't force them to pick, I would not speak to my sister again. If they attempted to mend our relationship, I would also cut off communication with them. My father and brother backed my decision, but my mother was upset and attempted to compromise. She stopped after 2 attempts. I have not spoken with my sister in 6 years. She's tried everything, from gifts to tantrums, but I refuse to participate. At family gatherings, I pretend she doesn't exist. Initially, she made sarcastic remarks or attempted to generate drama, but since no one supported her, she quit up. She had a meltdown when she realized she had been invited to my wedding but would not be participating in any preparations. My brother has expressed regret for putting up with her antics for so long, and his relationship with my ex has deteriorated. They still talk, but they're not as close as before. My mother's birthday was a few weeks ago, and I finally confirmed that we are expecting our first child. This is not the first grandchild, but it is the first granddaughter. Everyone was delighted, except my sister. My mother noticed her reaction and invited me around for tea a few days later. My instincts told me not to go, but I wanted to be positive. The first thing I saw when I arrived was my sister's automobile. Upon entering, I noticed my sister, her husband, my ex, and my ex's mother. They had planned an intervention, accusing me of using a childish tactic to ignore my sister for too long. My ex tried to defend his previous behaviors by calling them romantic, but his mother claimed I was hurting my sister, who only wanted the best for me. She apologized on my sister's behalf and insisted that I forgive her. As they chatted, I secretly texted my father, brother, and husband for assistance, staring at my mother in bewilderment. Then my brother-in-law had the guts to call me hurtful and insist on acting like an adult, because I was going to give birth to a baby. My mother started reading a letter about how upset she was that her daughters were not close. She admitted my sister's mistakes, but said they were well-intentioned. My sister responded with her own sorrowful letter, essentially repeating what the others had said. I didn't say anything till my brother came, apparently enraged. He took my belongings and expressed anger and disappointment. We sat in his car until my father and husband arrived. My brother continued to apologize as I sobbed uncontrollably. After leaving, I wrote an email to everyone involved, except my mother, containing my lawyer's contact information and explaining that I no longer wanted to be contacted. I warned that any additional efforts would result in my contacting the police. Nobody has approached me personally, but my father has said that my mother and sister are hysterical. They aim to make things right, with my sister even suggesting that she become involved in my baby's life, potentially as a godmother. My father is currently staying with my brother, and they both completely support me. However, some family members disagree with my decision. Some mutual acquaintances have even contacted me to express their concern for my sister, who is spreading accusations that my husband is keeping me away from my family. To clear the air, I wrote a public post outlining all that had happened. My sister, brother-in-law, and ex are now receiving harsh criticism, which, while not fully my intention, I believe is justified. My mother is still distraught, which makes me feel awful, but not as horrible as her intervention did. I recently decided to chat with my mother about laying ground rules for any future contacts. These include family therapy, set boundaries, no sharing personal information with my sister, and separate holidays. Most importantly, I informed her that if she did something like this again, I would cut her off permanently. She believes these stipulations are excessive, but has decided to comply.